Welcome to today's session. In our last session, we talked about the basics of research, the concepts connected to it. Today, we are going to talk about the business research process. We'll be touching the overview of the research process, problem identification and formulation, literature review, defining research questions or hypothesis, research design, data collection, data analysis, interpretation, and reporting. Let's get into it. We embark on a fascinating journey through the business research process, right? So, today, the essential roadmap that transforms everyday business puzzles into smart, data driven decisions is supported through research. Imagine you are a scientist or a strategist, all rolled into one, helping your organization trying to discover the hidden truths and to unlock potential insights leading to wise decisions. So you contribute a lot either as a researcher or as a scientist or as a detective or as a strategist. It's all for decision making, right? Today, let's try to unfold the research process step by step using an exciting example of a retail store facing a challenge in customer loyalty, something every business values deeply. So, what is business research process? The business research process is a series of, I would say, systematic series of steps designed to produce reliable and actionable results for organizations. It ensures that decisions are not based on assumptions or guesswork, but on carefully gathered data which is analyzed into meaningful insights which using strong evidences. Okay, the steps that is involved in, as I noted earlier, it starts with problem identification, literature review, research questions and hypothetical statement development, leading to research design, data collection, analysis, and interpretation. Let's break down these steps using a retail store example, keeping loyalty index as the primary concept. Okay, moving to the first phase, problem identification and formulation. The first step in clearly defining what issue is, clearly defining a market research processes. What is the problem that has been identified, or what issue needs your attention? So, in this case, maybe in the example which we are going to discuss, loyalty index is dropping. Okay, a very clear identification that the index in relevance to loyalty is dropping. Just imagine you walk into your favorite store and notice fewer familiar faces. That's a clear signal that the store must act, right? Defining the problem accurately sets the entire research direction. Once you identify the problem, sometimes if we are not able to diagnose the problem identification properly, the entire set of the process which you carry through is going to be a waste. So this is the first phase, I would say, just like a doctor diagnosing the problem accurately so that the right treatment and the right medicines can be given to the patient. The same way, in the organization, the problem identification is the very important and a crucial phase, exactly identifying what is the cause, right? What is the problem that has to be looked upon or given attention. The next phase is the review of literature. Okay. Once the problem is defined, the next is to review existing studies, the data which is existing, and the theories that is connected to it, that contributes for a better understanding. So here in this case, the theories that is connected to customer loyalty. Why? Because understanding what has already been discovered will save us a lot of time and avoids duplication and also clarifies what gaps remain. Okay. For example, past research might tell us in relevant to this index, loyalty index dropping. Past researchers would have identified or would give us a clarity that service quality, product variety, and price competitiveness greatly influences loyalty. So our research existing study or the example which we are now discussing can the retail store can use this insights to guide its research further. Okay. Moving to the third phase is defining research questions and hypothesis. So now turning the problem and knowledge into a clear questions to investigate or to identify the gap. Say for example, we have to ask a question in this case, what factors are causing the drop in customer loyalty at our store? We can propose a testable hypothetical statement by asking many more questions, but finally, identifying the gap will lead to a clear question, which will help us to develop a testable hypothesis. Here, the statement, like which we can try to prove or disapprove with the data. Say the hypothetical statement, for example, customer loyalty decreases when service quality drops. Right? This hypothetical statement reflects a kind of focused prediction, providing direction for our research design. This phase, this step will lead to research design, right? So we design how to collect data that answers our question and test our hypothesis. Here again, the research design is a very important phase in the market research process. Imagine deciding between surveys, interviews, or observation. No, it is like for a retail store, conducting a customer survey using a structured questionnaire is it's possible, right? In some cases in a retail store, there might be sometimes an option may not be able to collect the data, whereas observation or say if it is like connects a topic or a research area related to promotions, trying to identify the impact of an advertisement which you are giving for your product. In that case, we cannot exactly ask the question to get the responses, but there are also instruments which can lead us to identify the number of impressions, the impressions or the customer eye contacts, the time that they spend. There are so many methodologies that's available today which will help us to get data or have a clear design to take it further. In this case, for our retail store, conducting a customer survey through a structured questionnaire is very ideal. Okay, it collects the possibility of collecting qualitative and quantitative data insights efficiently. Okay, it helps us to do it. Next phase following this research design is the next phase leading to data collection. Once you have set the design, moving to collecting the data is very important. It's time to gather information. We have decided it's through questionnaire, right? Qualitative and quantitative data through questionnaire is important. So here what happens is like, you can distribute the questionnaires, and today we have technology which is supporting through a QR code or through a various survey tools. You can raise the questions to the customers. And of course, when we do this, we also have to follow the ethical protocols to ensure respect for participants. Like when we work on the questionnaires, we'll be dealing with this in detail. But just to point out the ethical protocol, including the ethical protocol is mandate when we collect data. So here we have kind of we have floated, and say for example we have gathered almost 180 to 200 responses. say we have gathered both through offline and online in-store customers, which will help us, to go for analysis representing the customer base. So once the data is collected, this will automatically lead to data analysis. And as we know, today there are so many analytical tools that will help us to analyze the data. But before the data is set for analysis, it has to be cleaned or curated for its, uh, for its fitness. And analytical methods take the primary stage or the center stage at this phase. So using statistics like regression analysis, the store can examine the correlations or the relationship between one variable to another and how changes in one factor relates to another. The analysis reveals here, when we take this example, it will come out with a clear key insight that service quality is the main driver that is influencing customer loyalty. So you hope you remember the hypothetical statement which we framed. So connecting to it, it reveals the analysis, the output, the data collected and analyzed leads to a clear insight that service quality is one of the major driver that is influencing customer loyalty. Moving to the next important phase is your, in relevance to this example, trying to do a recap. So the problem identified is loyalty index dropping. Then the literature is the past research on customer loyalty factors, or it's the contribution by previous authors or previous studies. Okay. And the question is, what drives loyalty at our store? So here the design leads to survey among 200 customers, wherein when you refine the data, curated data, it comes to 180 responses, both inclusive of online and in store. And the collected data is set for analysis. Regression shows the service quality is the main driver. So now these collected information has to be into a clear format, wherein we call it as the reporting. Okay. So the report or the insights which you bring out, interpretations which you bring out, helps the management or the people in the management to make prompt decisions. Okay. So whenever we come out, we have a set of output. This output has to be interpreted in proper way. And today we have a lot of visualization tools which will help us in interpretation of our data, and also visual representations of the data which we have analyzed. The report recommends improving service protocols, which might include better, getting making the existing staff trained more for providing better services, or enhanced, fresh batch of trained staff who could render better service, or quicker, maybe the waiting time, bringing down the waiting time, in other terms checkout times, like quicker checkout times, which will reduce the waiting time of the customers losing patience. Okay. Or better engagement of the customers. All this can lead to a decisions. These interpretations and the results which is set out as a presented report will help the management or the people in the position to take decisions. So the research process steps ensures, objectivity and reliability in findings or the results. Why do we follow this process? Mainly to validate or to come out with reliable outcomes, right? Makes recommendations credible and actionable. When we have a clear research output with the, facts and figures, this will recommend the decision making team to take actions immediately, and also builds professional expertise in research based decision making. So the clarity, when we have supported, interpretations and with facts and figures, which really supports the management or the decision makers to follow a professionalism, while they make decisions is very much, which is of a notable quality in terms of having a better culture in the organization, right? So that is the reason when we why should we follow this process is to validate, to have credibility, and also to build professionalism and a clear, transparent decision making in all the prospects. So to recap, we just talked about why should we have a research process, what are the steps that is involved in terms of problem identification and formulation, literature review, defining research questions and framing hypothetical statements, then designing research design frame of a design leading to collecting the data using questionnaires or any observational methods, then data analysis, interpretation and reporting leading to major decisions. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Happy learning. We'll be continuing with the next topic in the coming days. Thank you.